All right. Close that. Horror movie recommendations. 10/27/2021. I just watched a really good one on Netflix called Hypnotic. Go check it out. Just came out today. Anyways, if you got HBO Max, you want to watch Annabelle Creation. Annabelle Creation is, in my opinion, one of the scariest horror movies ever made. Okay? Ever made. And I don't mean like best movie, best horror movie. I mean just scary. It's scary. Okay? It fills you with a sense of dread and jump scares. It scares you. And it's about the Annabelle doll, how it was created, hence the name Annabelle Creation. And there's this weird orphanage house, and this lady with she got her face covered up like the Undertaker did when Yokozuna sat on his head back in the, y'all don't know about wrestling. Anyway, she got the thing on her face, and they summoned the Annabelle doll, and it's tormenting all these little girls. And Lulu Wilson's there, and it's scary. It's scary. It's on HBO Max. Annabelle Creation. Anyways, if you have Amazon, you want to watch Rob Zombie's House of a Thousand Corpses. Not his best movie, and it's not Devil's Rejects either. It's The Lords of Salem. Okay. House of a Thousand Corpses isn't his best, but you can see what happens when Rob Zombie has a big budget, right? It's big budget Rob Zombie. Now, his later films with next to no budget feel more right, if that makes any sense. They feel like, as somebody who's listened to Rob Zombie and White Zombie music his whole life, the low budget ones, they seem right? That seems like Grease Paint Monkey Brains. That seems like Astro Creep 2000, Black Sunshine, Thunder Kiss 65, where House of a Thousand Corpses seems a little bit too polished for me. But it's good to see how Zombie started, right? It's good to see how horror masters start. And Rob Zombie certainly is a horror master, as much as people want to deny it. He's got some of the best horror movies made in recent years. And I'm excited for the monsters. But House of a Thousand Corpses on Amazon. Speaking of legendary directors and how they started, Francis Ford Coppola, I want to say it's Francis Ford Coppola. Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola, who made The Godfather, oh, by the way, right? He made Dementia 13. Let me double check that, because I could be talking out of my ass. Yeah. Francis Ford Coppola's. Anyways, this was before he made The Godfather, and before he made Bram Stoker's Dracula. Yeah, Francis Ford Coppola. I'm not stupid. I know what I'm talking about. Anyways, this one, I don't even know what it's about, but it's beautiful. It's this girl, she goes to this, old house, and there's, creepy old stuff going on in the house, and there's a little boy buried in the pond, and they go to the pond, and there's, stuff buried under there. It's like a giallo, right? If somebody turned on and was like, this is a Dario Argento movie, you'd be like, yeah, I get it. But this one's also interesting because you can see how Coppola, how he did horror movies, and you can see a lot of his good techniques, right? Especially Bram Stoker is definitely The Godfather, that type of stuff. So if you've never seen Dementia 13, it's a classic. It's beautiful, right? Some people say Black Sunday by Mario Bava is one of the most beautiful black and white horror movies of all time, but Dementia 13 is right up there as one of the most beautiful black and white horror movies. Maybe The Hunter's up there too, Night of the Hunter. But yeah, Dementia 13. If you have Netflix, last one. If you have Netflix, movie that just came out this year, Blood Red Sky. Okay? Spoiler alert. It's about a vampire on a plane with fucking hijackers. Hijackers about to take over the plane. Little do they know, there's a woman who's a vampire on the fucking plane taking the red eye to America to get a experimental gene therapy to try to treat her vampirism, and she's got her son with her, right? She loves her son. She's trying to take care of her son while dealing with her condition of being a vampire and all this and that type of stuff, right? But, you know, obviously there's the whole emotional connection of that going on. She's mom. She's trying to deal with her son. She's trying to deal with being a vampire. She's not just a regular vampire. She's not like sexy vampire like Brad Pitt and Tom Cruise. She looks like Nosferatu. She's got the bald head. She's got the ears and everything, right? Also, a very weird German man gets transformed into a vampire, and he is an amazing fucking villain. Like, he's a psychopath hijacker, and he gets turned into a fucking vampire and then burned a fucking live. So now he's like a half-cooked, rabid, crazy vampire type of situation. Fucking badass. That's Blood Red Sky on Netflix. It's got the emotional part of it. It's got the gore part of it. It's got a great story to it. I rank this as one of my top horror movies of the year. Right now, everything is sitting behind Malignant, right? But I think I have it like in the top 3, right? It's one of my top 3 horror movies of this year. 100% go out and see Blood Red Sky on Netflix. As far as what I'm watching tonight, I'm watching VelociPastor because this is absurd ass fucking movies week. And in absurd movies week, we watch absurd ass fucking movies. So we're gonna watch VelociPastor about the priest who goes to China and gets scratched by a dinosaur, and when the full moon comes out, he turns into a giant velociraptor. It's nonsense, right? Anyways, for you, if you got HBO Max, you want to watch Annabelle Creation and learn how Annabelle was created in one of the scariest horror movies of all time. Unless you don't like jump scares, then you're probably not going to like this one because it's got lots of jump scares in it, you know. But if you got Tubi, you want to watch Francis Ford Coppola's first movie, Dementia 13, which is this weird guy, Giallo, about this girl in this old creepy house who goes missing, and there's like a little boy underneath the water, puts these toys under the water, and a detective's got to come detect shit. If you got Amazon, you got to see what happens when Rob Zombie gets a big budget in his first movie, House of a Thousand Corpses. And the number one movie you need to watch tonight, one of my top 3 horror movies of this year, Blood Red Sky. Like, it's outstanding, okay? The woman, she gets on the plane, you learn pretty quickly she is vampiric, right? But it does a cool thing like Inglourious Basterds does this, where most of the movie isn't in English, but it's, you know, it's like part in German and part in French. And it's always cool when movies do that because, you know, English isn't the predominant language in the world, and you wouldn't expect everybody to just speak English from any part of the world, and they're not from America or England, so it makes sense that the people aren't speaking English. It's just a little detail that I love. The woman, right, her story of how she becomes a vampire is very touching. Her connection with her son is fucking amazing. They give this whole big backstory about, like, because her son's like a newborn when she turns into a vampire, and then he's like 9 or 10 in this movie. So they give a lot of backstory of, like, you know, how she had to live and survive, right, as like a single mother / vampire type situation while dealing with raising this child. And it's like it's like a really, I don't know, it's like a really beautiful type of thing to see, because, you know, you don't ever see that with vampires. You just see them, I want to suck your blood, or, you know, whatever. You don't get to see in reality what would happen. And you know, it's beautiful. And then the hijackers come, right, and they're messing with her, and she doesn't want anybody to be afflicted like the way that she's afflicted. So she's trying to protect, but she's also trying not to infect. And it's this weird conundrum that they kind of get in. And there's a cool flip in the movie where she goes from being like the monstrosity, the villain, to being the anti-hero, and then it kind of flips again to her being like the villain. And there's this really touching scene with her and her son. It's fucking amazing. Blood Red Sky on Netflix. Like I said, it's in my top 3. It's like Malignant, Quiet Place Part 2, and Blood Red Sky. Like, those are the top 3, like, for this year. So, go watch, in my opinion, one of the top 3 horror movies of the year. Yeah, I just had to give a lot into Blood Red Sky. Watch it. You'll fucking love it. But yeah, come back tomorrow. We got more recommendations to finish out the week, to finish out the month. We're going to extend this a couple days past Halloween. We're going to cover a couple of movies on November 1st and November 2nd in honor of Dia de los Muertos, where we're going to cover Mexican-made horror movies. So stick around for that even after Halloween, and have a nice day.